The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. Picture this. There's a guy who's absolutely convinced love is complete nonsense. And we're not talking about some bitter teenager who just got dumped. This man is brilliant, traveled everywhere, studied at the best schools, watched people with the sharp eyes of a scientist. He'd spent years hunting for this mysterious thing called love, only to decide it was basically Santa Claus for adults, something invented by poets and priests to mess with people's heads. He'd stand in town squares arguing with anyone who'd listen that love is just a power game. Think drug dealer and addict, he'd say. One person desperately needs affection and validation. That's your addict. The other person needs less, so they control the supply. That's your dealer. The needy one lives in constant terror, getting jealous and clingy, scared out of their mind they'll be abandoned. Where's the love in that? He'd challenge. That's just fear wearing a fancy mask. He'd watched it all unfold around him, young couples making wild promises they'd never keep. Older couples describing their 50-year marriage not as some beautiful love story, but as a war they'd somehow survived. So he built walls around his heart. Nobody was going to play mind games with him ever again in the name of love. Then comes this perfect day in the park. He spots a gorgeous woman on a bench, tears streaming down her face. Something pulls him over. He sits down, asks what's wrong, and nearly falls off the bench when she looks at him and says she's crying because love doesn't exist. His jaw hits the ground. Finally, someone who gets it. They talk for hours, swapping war stories, sharing their disillusionment, and boom, they become best friends. And here's the thing. Their friendship is absolutely beautiful. No games, no jealousy, no controlling nonsense, just two people genuinely happy together. When they're apart, they actually miss each other. One day, lightning strikes his brain. Wait a second, he thinks. What I feel for her, could this actually be love? It's nothing like what the movies promised. I'm not responsible for her happiness. She's not responsible for mine. We just enjoy each other. Maybe love does exist, but everyone's been describing it wrong this whole time. He can't wait to tell her. The second he opens his mouth, she's already smiling. I know, she says. I figured that out a while ago. Maybe love is real, just not the fairy tale version we were sold. So they become lovers, and it's even better. His heart gets so full that one night, staring at the stars, something magical happens. He sees the most stunning star in the sky, and his love feels so huge that the star literally floats down into his hands. His soul merges with it. Pure joy. He runs to find her, desperate to give her this star to prove his love. As he places it in her hands, something flickers across her face. Doubt. Just for a second. This love feels overwhelming. And in that tiny moment of hesitation, the star slips from her hands and explodes into 1,000,000 pieces. What the hell just happened? Here's the twist. He screwed up. That star was his own happiness. His mistake was thinking he could hand it to her, making her responsible for the joy that was coming from inside him all along. This gorgeous little story is the key that unlocks one of the most mind-bending books ever written about relationships. The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. Ruiz, who's basically a modern-day shaman carrying ancient Toltec wisdom from Mexico, didn't write this as a dating manual. This is a guide to healing the one relationship that controls all the others, the one you have with yourself. Stick with me, and you'll understand the hidden disease that's secretly destroying our ability to love. More importantly, you'll get the keys to actually fix it, so you can create a life built on real love, instead of neediness and fear. To really get what Don Miguel Ruiz is saying, I need you to imagine something wild. Imagine living on a planet where everyone, and I mean everyone, is born with this horrible skin disease. Around age 3 or 4, your skin starts breaking out in these infected, painful wounds. By your teenage years, you're covered head to toe. These wounds hurt like hell whenever they're touched. Since this is everyone's reality, it's just considered normal. Medical textbooks describe it as standard human condition. Now think about how people would interact on this planet. Nobody would touch each other. An accidental bump would hurt so badly, you'd immediately lash out in anger, just to get even. The desire to connect is still there, but every single interaction comes with a heavy price of pain. Now imagine one morning you wake up and, miracle, your skin is completely healed. No wounds, no pain. Touching your own skin feels amazing. But you're living in a world where everyone else is still suffering. You can't touch them because it'll hurt them. And nobody touches you because they assume it'll hurt you. This, Ruiz says, is exactly humanity's situation. The disease isn't on our skin, though. It's in our minds. The human mind is sick with a disease called fear. Our emotional body is covered in wounds, infected with what he calls emotional poison. This poison shows up as anger, jealousy, sadness, and hate. Basically all the emotions that make us suffer. This mental disease has been around for thousands of years, so we've convinced ourselves it's normal. Psychology books catalog its symptoms, describing it as just part of being human. Ruiz gently but firmly tells us, it's not normal at all. The real, healthy human mind looks like a 2 or 3-year-old kid. They're laughing constantly, their imagination is pure adventure, and they live completely in the moment. They're not ashamed of yesterday or worried about tomorrow. Small children aren't afraid to love. When they feel it, they show it. This, Ruiz explains, is our natural state. So what happened? What went wrong? The adults who already have this mental disease are basically contagious. They pass it to us through something Ruiz calls domestication. Just like training a dog, we domesticate our children using punishment and reward. We get punished for certain behaviors and rewarded for others. You're a good boy when you do this, or you're a bad girl when you do that. We start fearing the punishment, but soon we fear something even worse. Not getting the reward. We become terrified of not being good enough for our parents, teachers, friends. This is where the fear of rejection is born. This fear makes us change who we are. We create a fake version of ourselves, a mask we think will make others accept us and reward us. We practice pretending to be someone we're not for so long that eventually we forget who we actually are. We start living through these fake images. One image for family, another for friends, another for work. The problem? These images are lies. There's this huge gap between the perfect image we're showing the world and the person we are when we're alone, the person who feels like they're never good enough. The bigger this gap, the more we suffer, and the less we love ourselves. To protect these fragile images and the painful wounds underneath, our minds create this powerful denial system, like thick fog, preventing us from seeing the truth about ourselves and others. So when two people get into a relationship, it's not really two people meeting, it's a whole collection of images. The guy has his outer image and inner image. The woman has her outer and inner image. That's 4 right there. Then the guy creates an image of who he wants her to be, and she creates an image of who she wants him to be. Now there are 6 images, all bouncing around in this fog of lies and fear. How could they ever truly know each other? They can't. This entire system of fear, lies, and emotional wounds is what the Toltecs call the dream of hell, not a place you go when you die. It's where most humans are living right now. Each of us has our personal dream, but we're all born into this bigger, collective dream, the dream of the planet. This massive dream includes all of society's rules, laws, and religions. Thousands of voices from this outside dream talk at once in our heads. Chaotic noise the Toltecs call the méthode. This constant chatter blocks us from seeing what we truly are. Pure love, pure life. So if this is the dream of hell, what's the alternative? Ruiz shows us two fundamental paths that govern every relationship, the track of fear and the track of love. Most of the world runs on the track of fear. On the fear track, everything's driven by obligation. I have to call my mother. You should spend more time with me. As soon as we feel we have to do something, we naturally resist it, and that resistance creates suffering. The fear track is also packed with expectations. We do something for our partner because we expect them to do something back. When they don't meet our expectations, we feel hurt. We blame them. This isn't fair, we think. On the fear track, there's no real respect. Instead, there's pity. When you feel sorry for someone, you're basically saying, "Poor you. You're not strong enough to handle this yourself, so I'll do it for you." We do this with our kids all the time. Try to live their lives for them because we don't respect their ability to make their own choices. Same with self-pity. When we say, "Poor me, I'm not smart enough, I'm not attractive enough," we're showing massive disrespect for ourselves. Now here's the track of love. On the love track, there are no obligations. Whatever you do because you want to. It becomes pleasure, a game. There are no expectations. You give to your partner for the pure joy of giving, not to get something back. If they give back, awesome. If they don't, that's fine too, because your happiness doesn't depend on what they do. On the love track, there's no pity, there's compassion. Compassion is born from respect. Love says, "I respect you. I know you're strong enough and smart enough to make your own choices. I don't need to make them for you. If you fall, I'll offer my hand to help you up, but I know you can do it." Love is ruthless this way. It doesn't feel sorry for anyone because it sees the strength in everyone. Love is unconditional. Fear is full of conditions. On the fear track, we say, "I love you if you're good to me. I love you if you fit the image I created for you." On the love track, there's no if. I love you for no reason. I love you exactly as you are, and you're free to be yourself. We don't have the right to change anyone, and nobody has the right to change us. Understanding these two tracks is your first step toward mastering love, because in any relationship, parent, friend, partner, there are two halves. One half is you, and the other half is them. You're only responsible for your half. It doesn't matter how much you love someone, you can never be responsible for what's inside their head. You don't know their beliefs, assumptions, or fears. You don't know their dream. The biggest mistake we make is trying to control the other half. This leads to the war of control. That's not love. That's selfishness. Instead, Ruiz says, see your partner as a teammate. If you're playing tennis together, you don't play against your partner, you play with them. Same goal. Play, have fun, win together. But if your partner constantly tells you how to play, "No, hold the racket like this. You're doing it wrong," it's not fun anymore. You don't want to play with that person. To master a relationship, you must first master your half. And that starts with this surprisingly simple yet profound realization about where love actually comes from. Imagine, Ruiz says, you have a magical kitchen in your home. In this kitchen, any food you could ever want appears instantly, in any quantity. You're never hungry. In fact, you have so much food you're incredibly generous. You share it freely with anyone who comes by, just for the joy of sharing. Your house is always full of people enjoying these magnificent feasts. One day, someone knocks holding a pizza. They say, "I'll give you this pizza every single day if you just do everything I want." What would you do? You'd laugh. You'd say, "Thanks, but I don't need your pizza. I have all the food I could ever want right here. Actually, you're welcome to come in and eat for free, no strings attached. But I'm definitely not doing whatever you want for a slice of pizza." Now imagine the opposite. You haven't eaten in weeks. You're starving. Same person, same pizza, same offer. Now you can smell it. Your hunger is overwhelming. You'll probably agree to anything for that food. You become a slave to the pizza provider, living in constant fear they might give their pizza to someone else. Now, says Ruiz, swap food for love. Your heart is that magical kitchen. If you open your heart, you have all the love you need. So much love you can share it unconditionally with the whole world. You're a millionaire in love. When someone comes and says, "I'll give you my love if you do what I want," you'll just laugh. You don't need their conditional love. You've got an infinite supply. But what happens if your heart's closed? If you believe you're empty and unloved? You're starving for love. When someone offers you a tiny taste, a little attention, you become desperate, needy. You'll do anything for that crumb of affection. You let others control your life, how to dress, behave, what to believe. You give your whole soul away for a bit of attention. This is the drama of most human relationships. We're starving for love because we've closed our hearts. We go around begging for it, not realizing the magical kitchen is right inside us. We search outside ourselves when love is everywhere, all around us. The problem isn't that love is scarce. It's that our emotional body, wounded and full of fear, isn't tuned to perceive it anymore. The main obstacle? Self-rejection. We grow up with this image of perfection we can never achieve. Because we're not perfect, we reject ourselves. The big judge in our mind constantly reminds us of our flaws. We can never forgive ourselves for not being what we think we should be. And if we reject ourselves, how can we believe anyone else could truly love us? How could we possibly love anyone else? So the first and most important relationship to heal is with yourself. How do you start? Ruiz suggests looking at your relationship with your pet, especially a dog. Dogs know how to have perfect relationships. They don't have expectations of you. They love you unconditionally, always happy to see you. A dog is responsible for its half of the relationship and does it perfectly. You're responsible for your half, and you do it pretty well too. You feed it, care for it, love it, just the way it is. A dog is a dog. You don't try to change your dog into a cat. You accept it for what it is. Why can't we do this with humans? Why can't we let a woman be a woman, a man be a man, and love them just the way they are? The key is knowing what you want first, then being honest about what you see. If you want a dog, don't get a cat and spend your life trying to make it bark. Be honest with yourself. When you meet someone, don't see only what you want to see. Don't invent qualities that aren't there. If you know what you're looking for, someone heading in the same direction, who shares your values, who loves you as you are, then you won't set yourself up for failure. What if you're already in a relationship where this isn't happening? You can start fresh today. It starts with you. You must first accept yourself completely, just as you are. Then you can accept your partner just as they are. A relationship is an art, and in this art, you're only responsible for your half. Your half has some garbage, your fears, wounds, emotional poison. That garbage is your responsibility to clean up, not your partner's. And their garbage is their responsibility, not yours. You can love and support them, but you can't clean their garbage for them. If your partner is unhappy, it doesn't mean you have to become unhappy too. That's not support. That's two people sinking together. True support is staying happy, and your happiness becomes a beacon that can guide them back to their own. So how do we clean up our own garbage? How do we heal our emotional body? Ruiz gives us a 3-step process, like sacred surgery for the soul. First, we need a scalpel to open the wounds. That scalpel is truth. A great master once said, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." The truth is painful because it cuts through our denial system, the web of lies we've built to protect our wounds. To find the truth, Ruiz offers 3 simple but challenging rules. Rule 1. Don't believe me. What I'm telling you now, what Ruiz writes, it's his truth from his dream. Listen, consider it, and if it makes sense and makes you happy, you can choose to believe it. But don't believe it just because he said so. Rule 2. Don't believe yourself. This is the hardest one. Don't believe all the lies the judge in your head tells you. Don't believe you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy of love. Over 80% of what you believe about yourself is probably a lie programmed during your domestication. Don't believe your own drama. Rule 3. Don't believe anyone else. People are living in their own dreams, speaking from their own wounds and beliefs. If you stop believing the lies from outside and the lies from your own mind, what's left? Only what's true. Lies need our energy to survive. Truth survives on its own, whether we believe it or not. Once truth has opened the wounds, we need to clean out the poison. There's only one way: forgiveness. You must forgive those who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You forgive so you don't have to suffer every time you remember the injustice. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's an act of self-love for your own mental healing. As children, forgiveness was natural. 2 kids can fight, and 5 minutes later they're playing again, incident forgotten. But as adults, our pride gets in the way. We hold on to resentment, making our personal story more important than our own peace. Make a list of everyone who hurt you: parents, friends, partners, even God. Then forgive them, knowing whatever they did was never about you. It was a reflection of their own dream, their own emotional poison. And after forgiving everyone else, you come to the most important person you must forgive: yourself. Forgive yourself for all the times you've judged yourself, rejected yourself, and believed the lies. Finally, after the wounds are open and clean, we apply the medicine that heals them completely. That medicine is self-love. This isn't selfishness. Selfishness comes from an empty heart that needs to take. Self-love comes from a full heart, that magical kitchen, with so much love it can't help but overflow. The only way to be truly happy is to love. And you can't love anyone else until you love yourself. It's just a fact. How do you practice this? Ruiz suggests a simple ritual, a celebration of your own body. In India, people perform pujas for their gods, offering flowers and food with devotion. Your body is a temple, home to trillions of living cells completely loyal to you. You're their god. Treat your body with that same devotion. When you shower, do it with love and gratitude. When you eat, savor each bite as an offering to your temple. When you do this, your love for yourself will grow so strong, you'll never reject yourself again. When you master these 3 things, truth, forgiveness, and self-love, something miraculous happens. You awaken. The awakening is like being at a massive party where everyone's drunk and you're the only sober one. You can see the dream for what it is, an illusion. You're still dreaming, because dreaming is what minds do, but now you know it's a dream, and because you know, you can choose to enjoy it instead of suffer from it. You can have compassion for all the other people at the party because you remember what it was like to be drunk too. This awakening is the moment you realize what you truly are. You're not your body, not your mind, not even your soul. You're the force behind them all, your life itself. There's this old story from India about the god Brahma, who was all alone and bored, so he created a beautiful goddess, Maya, to play a game with. At her instruction, he created the entire universe, sun, stars, oceans, and finally humans. When he finished, he asked, "When does the game start?" Maya smiled and said, "It starts now." She then took Brahma, shattered him into billions of tiny pieces, and placed a piece inside every single human. "Now," she said, "the game is this. I'm going to make you forget what you are, and you're going to spend your life trying to find yourself. That piece of Brahma, that piece of God, is inside you. The dream, Maya, keeps you from remembering it. When you awaken from the dream, you reclaim your divinity. You find God, not in the sky, but within yourself. And the proof that God lives within you is simple. You're alive. Your life is the proof. When you know this, your personal dream transforms from fear to love, from suffering to happiness. Your life becomes an expression of beauty. And if you create your life with love, your dream becomes a masterpiece of art. The power of the mastery of love lies in its radical simplicity. In a world drowning in complex relationship advice, Don Miguel Ruiz brings us back to one foundational truth. The quality of your outer relationships perfectly reflects your inner one. For me, the most liberating idea in the entire book is that you're only responsible for your half of the relationship. Think about how much energy we waste trying to change, manage, or fix our partners, parents, or kids. It's exhausting and it never works. Ruiz gives us permission to let go of that impossible burden. He tells us to focus on our own half, clean up our own emotional wounds, challenge our own false beliefs, and fill our own hearts with love. When you do that, your half of every relationship becomes healed and whole. That creates space for the other person to either meet you there or for you to peacefully move on. It removes blame and drama, replacing it with responsibility and freedom. The magical kitchen metaphor is perhaps the most empowering. It completely flips the script on love. Most of us grow up believing love is a scarce resource we have to go out and get. We have to earn it, win it, or trade for it. This belief turns us into beggars, constantly seeking validation and affection from others. The idea that our own hearts are an infinite source of love, that we can be the provider, not the beggar, is life-altering. It means we can enter relationships not out of neediness, but out of a desire to share the abundance we already have. That's the shift from a relationship of fear to a relationship of love. This book isn't just a book, it's a mirror. It asks you to look at the ways you reject yourself, the lies you believe, and the fear that governs your life. And it offers a clear, compassionate path back to your true nature. So how can you start applying these ideas today, right now? Here are 3 simple actions. First, practice the body celebration. For the next 7 days, treat your body with absolute reverence. When you're in the shower, thank your body for carrying you through life. When you eat, slow down and truly savor it, knowing you're nourishing a sacred temple. This isn't about vanity. It's about shifting from self-criticism to self-gratitude. Notice how this small change in perspective begins to heal your relationship with yourself. Second, try the forgiveness practice. You don't need to confront anyone. Just take a piece of paper and write down the name of one person who hurt you. Close your eyes, picture them, and say, either out loud or in your mind, "I understand that your actions came from your own dream, your own pain. It was never truly about me. I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve to be free. Then, tear up the paper and let it go. This is powerful for cleaning out that emotional poison. Finally, catch the judge. Just for today, your only job is noticing the voice of your inner critic. That voice telling you you're not smart enough, that you made a mistake, that you should be ashamed. Don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Simply notice it and label it, that's the judge. Awareness is the first step to disarming its power. You can't fight an enemy you don't see. In the end, the message of the mastery of love is that love isn't something you find. It's something you practice. It's a skill you develop. And it all begins with mastering the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with the person you see in the mirror. That brings us to the end of our journey through The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. We've explored the deepest ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The real adventure, the real feeling of sun on your skin and wind in your hair, only comes when you visit it yourself. If these ideas sparked something in you, I genuinely encourage you to pick up the book. Reading it is an experience, a meditation, that can truly rewire how you see yourself, your relationships, and the very nature of love. The link is waiting in the description. And if this exploration brought you any value today, please show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. It helps us reach more people and ensures you won't miss our next deep dive into another book that has the power to change your life. Let's continue this journey of growth together.